Welcome back to the show. This is God's on Goal, and there's a lot to talk about, of course. As much as it is the international break, most of the guys, most football fans are watching the international break, the international games, basically. And for us Arsenal fans, we are looking at the calendar, and we are looking quite worried because you're still 9 points clear at top of the Premier League, and there are like 8 games left for us to play, and also in Europe you have to play. But beneath, after watching that final, of course, we saw some cracks and saw some major issues in our team, and that includes, you know, the striking department and the usual suspects. As much as we are going to talk about Gyökeres, Havertz, and everyone else, um, a player like Bukayo Saka has played nearly 3,000 minutes this season, and the star boy looks like he is running on fumes again. And the World Cup, in the horizon, I bet he would want to reach their feet. England fans would want to, have him fit for the World Cup. Basically, of course, Tuchel is also looking at him. So there is a lot to look at, especially with our star boy. And as much as our star boy is playing so many minutes, Mikel Arteta is refusing to use the bench always. And on this specific episode, we're going to talk about and ask so many questions like, where is Miles Lewis Kelly? You know, where is he? He hasn't been playing so much this season. A player like Christian Norgaard, he was the Brentford captain. He has not played a full 90 minutes in the Premier League. He's always on the bench. We have a player like Max Doman. He has shown that he is ready for this level, especially when now and our attack looks bleak. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. And talking about our academy projects, they aren't really performing as we expect them. And Norgard, we know that he won't be here next season. I don't know whether he won't be here because he was not playing because of tactics. I'm not sure whether he's playing because the coach doesn't want him. But one thing that we can guarantee is that Arteta has his favorites on this team. And you remember when Eze made a mistake in the Aston Villa game, he was benched like 5 or 6 games straight. I bet he even played about around 2 to 3 games. He never even played at all, even for any minutes. So we know Arteta has his favorites. And let's just talk about, for example, let's just start with MLS. And this is the most controversial player that we have at this point, because rumors are coming out that Miles Lewis Kelly wants to go out, wants to exit the club, and rightfully so. This is the guy who started at the Bernabeu and played so many significant minutes last season when we needed him, while Calafiori was always injured. Hmm? For example, like last season, he played nearly 40 games, and he was playing in the midfield, he was playing as left back. I don't know, but it understandably so why he's not played in the midfield again, because now that we have this Rice and Zubimendi pivot, and also signing Hinkapie, I think we have squeezed so many minutes off of him, and he won't get much of playing time. Even the Carabao Cup that he's played in the initial stages before getting to the final, he should have played at least for some minutes. I don't know why he never played. Yeah? And I don't know whether Arteta is sacrificing him because he wants to win the league right now, because I don't know. We are so attached to this player. We don't really understand why he is not playing at all. And that is not even the only person. Like I mentioned, a player like Norgard, he was the signing of the summer in 2025, and he was that guy that we knew. Once you rotate a player of his quality in that team, you know that levels wouldn't be quite the same, but they wouldn't really drop off. For example, he's only played about less than 1,000 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, and some few minutes when we want to close out the game. And you can find Arteta in his press conference, praising his tactical intelligence, his leadership in the dressing room, his high pressure moments in his life as the captain, of course, of a team. But in the Wembley final, I don't know why he never brought Norgaard. He brought Norgaard in the dying minutes of the game. I don't even understand why we even spent that money on him if he was not going to play, if he was not going to be used as a rotation option. And this is the problem that we've been having with Arteta for very, very many years. And I think after like his first or second season, especially in the 2022-2023 season where he wasn't really rotating, but with the players that we had on our bench as compared to this season he has tried to rotate well, but we've seen that he has gone back to his old habits. He like I said, he has his favorites. Like week in week out, Saliba would play, Gabriel would play. If Timber is fit, Timber would play. You know, Saka will play, Trossard will play, and then the others in terms of the striking, he loves rotating there. In the number 10 this season specifically, he has managed to rotate, but we all knew that Odegaard would start every single game that is available for us. In the FA Cup, of course, Kepa will start, for example, in the goalkeeping position. He is the cup keeper. I wouldn't really blame him for the final that he made a mistake, because even our attack, even the team didn't really help to, because he can make a mistake and go and score 2 goals and he's forgotten. But now people have made it a talking point that he made a mistake and that's why we lost the Carabao Cup. That is not the main issue here. The main issue here is that the coach doesn't rotate when it's necessary. Even in the final, like I said, people were expecting. Okay, we knew that at some point, uh, Kepa would start, but for a team that hasn't won a trophy, for a team that didn't really they really wanted to get it over the line. Um, I can say for sure that he wanted to do something. You know, even a player like Max Doman, the 16-year-old, one of the youngest players to ever score in the Premier League. And he blew up actually in the preseason, and we knew that this is a good player, but he never played as much as he was injured. And he has made like, I think less than 10, maybe 6 or 7 appearances this season, just to name a few. Um, and of course, the fans are split. They don't know whether we should play him because he's 16 years. We should not also play him because we should protect him. But if he's good enough, then he's old enough to play. I don't see why he should, not play, because in that final, nobody, and I mean in that final, if at some point, now that we are losing anyway, if at some point Arteta would remove a player like Saka and place Doman in the team, nobody would complain because we're chasing the game. If we would, remove a striker like Gyökeres and bring an academy striker, we are chasing the game. We have nothing more to lose. We we need to make midfield changes. We can bring even Miles Lewis Kelly, or maybe bring in Norgaard, but he never took that risk as much as we were losing that game. That is the worst part about this, and understandably so. He wants to get it over the line, and we look a very good team on paper, look like a very good team going into games, but jumping over into that last hurdle is not really fun. And with Arteta's reputation, we know that in the running, Saka will always play. That is a guarantee. Saliba will always play. As much as he has had his injury problems this season, he has managed to stay fit long enough to be available when we need him. And we need him, especially in the latter stages of the Champions League. If we make it to the semi-finals and to the finals, we need him available. We also need him next season after the World Cup. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. And if you look like if a player like MLS would want to leave in the summer, it would be really hard to promise him minutes if we have two left backs in Calafiori and Hincapi, and he doesn't get any midfield minutes. And since we are also linked with a player like Tonali and Adam Wharton and Anderson in the midfield options, MLS knows that his minutes here will be very, very limited. This is a player who was playing in the national team during I think it was the October international break, and he played well and he scored his first international goal. And right now, players like O'Reilly look, one step ahead and look like they're going to be in the World Cup squad. With a player like Miles Lewis Kelly, will not be. And it is also understandable. Who would you blame the manager? I'm not really sure. So yes, even with the upcoming games in the Sporting Lisbon game, in the Man City game, we know that MLS will not play. Saka will play. Odegaard will play now that he's back. I don't know whether he's fit enough, but he's back. There's a lot of crisis in our team, and those three players, and I think those three players, MLS, Norgaard, and Dowman, I think they would make a difference in this team because they look like the only players who would come in and bring some new energy. You know, because Zubimendi looks tired. Zubimendi is very important, yes, but Zubimendi has played so many games up to now, and he looks very tired. Norgaard should be playing. Norgaard should be given a chance. Norgaard should be, one of those players that we look like we can count on. Even at the moment, now we have like 6 players who have withdrawn from the international teams. Like we have Saliba, Gabriel Megales, Timber, Trossard, Eze, and Odegaard. Those are basically players who would start in our team. I don't know whether they'll be fit by the time we are back because Eze looks like to between 4 to 6 weeks. Trossard, we don't really know. Same case with Saliba and Megales, but I think they'll be fit enough to be back after the international break. So yeah, we shouldn't. I'm worried about Arteta at this point. I am really worried about him because if he continues to play Saka after having two major injuries this season, he had like even previously before the season ended, he was injured. He has to make sure that his favorites don't play. He has to make sure that the team is balanced enough to win us games. Of course, we look really good with a 9 point lead, but that lead can just vanish within 2 game weeks. If you don't win like 2 games and Man City win their next 2 games, the gap is gone. Now it is in their hands. At the moment, the title race and the winning our games, it is in our hands only at this point. We can only control our destiny as it stands. So winning games, winning matches, that is the main thing. And if Arteta manages to win the Premier League, we will congratulate him. Probably he'll be given a new contract extension. He will be given some more players. More players would want to join us. Yeah, so he has to win a lot of games to get us over that line. The Champions League, it's a 50-50. I don't know whether we'll be able to deal with Barcelona with their attack because their attack is so good. One of the best in Europe, actually. So we're going to be preparing for that if they make it to the semi-finals. Also, Atletico Madrid, as much as we beat them in the league phase stage, where we are currently standing, I think it is also important not to underrate them because they've reached that far. So they can actually make it to the semis and they might be a very big problem. They've been wanting to win Champions League for a very long time. They only got stopped by Cristiano Ronaldo. That's also a topic for another day, but yes, Arteta needs to find a way to rotate these players. I'm more worried about Arteta than I'm worried about the players because if he decides to play it safe again at the Etihad, while City know they can beat us, they know that if continue attacking us, they will find ways to break us down. Having players like Semenyo in your team, Ryan Chaki, Doku, they have Savinho on the bench, they have Foden on the bench, they have Haaland, they have Bernardo Silva. Like the quality up front, they have so many players that can be used to break our team. But then again, we have one of the best defenses in the league. But we have to we've proven that we cannot rely on our defensive abilities and set pieces continuously as if we cannot create any good chances from open play. So yes, Arteta needs to find a way, and I've said it so many times in this podcast. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's just really frustrating to watch this team not win a trophy at this point. Not going after leading the league all this time and not going ahead to win. Because if Guardiola goes ahead and wins this league, it will break so many Arsenal fans, including myself. That Arsenal team will break. I mean, players like Saliba, if they left, nobody would bat an eye. You know, a player like Declan Rice, he said this, if he wants to leave, nobody would even bat an eye. Like, nobody would care if we don't win the league this season and players leave. But if you win this league this season and sell maybe some players and try to improve the squad, that is the best case scenario. So no matter what people say, no, okay, we wanted to win a quad, blah blah blah, that was not on the table at the moment. Nobody, no team has won a quad, but we're in a position to go ahead and win the treble. So why not go for that? But yes, that's all for today. We're going to meet tomorrow, of course, find to talk about something else about this team, because now we are international break. There's a lot to talk about, and yeah, this has been good. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is Gods on Goal podcast, and I will see you soon.